Like I say, hey mama, how you doing? Check us out. We doing big things right now. Indeed. Okay.
Welcome back to the Flow Podcast. Here it is, another episode. I'm a little tired today. Stayed up all night editing episodes for y'all. So I hope y'all like it. Check out the new reels. And the full videos are on YouTube if you want to check out the full vids of those reels. And like we said, merch. We're promoting these. You've seen the promo on our Insta. There'll be plenty more. DM us if you want to grab a shirt. But let's get right into this episode. I'm going to let Adric introduce our guest and the topic, as well as the starting question. So let's go.
All right, well, like you say, that's Shem. I'm Adrian, man. Y'all already know my name, man. Y'all know the vibes. We got a great topic in store for y'all today. And today we have...
I'm Rachel, and I'm a second-year student or a sophomore at the College of William and Mary, and I'm majoring in economics and public policy.
Keep it going. What else you got? Let them know. Get some fun fact. Interesting.
Okay, fun fact. I'm originally from London in the UK. I was born and raised there, and I've been living in the United States since I was 16 years old. At first, I lived in Los Angeles for 2 years. And for the last year, I've been living in Virginia. I live in Richmond. And another fun fact about me, I went to Sierra Canyon School. So I went to school with the likes of Bronny James.
So tough. That's valid. I ain't gonna lie. Like, what was that like, being in school with Bronny and Bryce? You was in school with Bryce too, or just Bronny?
Bryce was in the lower school at the time, and then he's also got I know he's got a younger sister as well, so I would see Bronny in the upper campus. Honestly, people ask me all the time, like, oh my gosh, you went to school with famous people, like, what's that like? What's it like to be in Sierra Canyon? Honestly, it's just like going to school day in, day out. Everybody's on the same playing field, like, it doesn't matter what your background is. Like, I think a third of Sierra Canyon is on financial aid. So you have like people from different socioeconomic backgrounds. And what I liked about it was that just everyone was on the same playing field. You were treated equally. You could interact with these people, and they're normal people. Like, there's nothing crazy about it. It's just a normal day in the life, and that's what I liked about Sierra Canyon.
Okay. What do you think about Bronny James?
What do I think about Bronny?
Yeah.
He's an okay player. I mean, I watched one game when I was in junior year, and they played actually pretty well. This is like, I don't know if I should say this, but this is like devil's advocate, or like, unpopular opinion. I actually liked how Amari plays more than Bronny.
I mean, some do, some don't.
Yeah, I didn't buy into the hype as most people did.
What about now, though, looking at him and seeing what he's doing now? What about now?
What he's doing now? I mean, the boys' basketball team, they're pretty successful. I mean, that's what Sierra Canyon's known for.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a great coach. I've met Andre Chevalier personally, and he's just a great motivator. What he's doing right now, I think the team are like doing pretty good. Like, they're pretty solid.
Let's jump into what do you think about Bronny as far as looks-wise, though.
Looks-wise?
Yeah.
He's younger than me, Adrian.
Don't matter. Age ain't nothing but a number.
He's younger than me. He's not a bad-looking boy, but like I said, he's younger than me. I think it was all over social media. Like, he went to prom with like one of the girls that I know from the soccer team, because I was like helping out the soccer team junior year, and they seem pretty cute together.
That seemed a little shady to me. Low-key threw a little shade at it. Well, I mean, hey, Brian, if you ever watch this, holla. Say now, but yeah, that brings me to our starter question. What the starter question is, it warms you up for what the topic is. The topic for discussion is for today.
Yeah.
It's just to get your thoughts together, your thoughts flowing, your mind going. And the starter question for you is, what's more important to you, looks or brains?
Oof. I mean, the thing is, you can have like a pretty boy, but if it's just air up there, that will frustrate me. Like, because I've had that situation before. It'll frustrate the hell out of me. Like, okay, you're all brawn, but like, got nothing up there. Like, pretzels up there. I don't like that. So I do care. I would say I care more about brains. Like, you have to have something up there. Otherwise, how am I going to relate to you? Because I would say I'm smart. Like, I have a brain up there. And I like intellectual conversation. And if I feel like I can't hold an intellectual conversation with you, I will get frustrated.
Okay, so do you have a celebrity crush?
A celebrity crush?
Yeah.
I do, yes.
Who is your celebrity crush?
But they're not really a celebrity. Like, they're like a soccer player.
It's still a celebrity.
Yeah, celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the problem is soccer players don't have too much going on up there. They don't.
But who is your celebrity crush?
Okay, my celebrity crush is he's a member of the England squad and he plays for my favourite soccer team, Manchester United. His name is Jadon Sancho.
Okay. I mean, because you just kind of like transitioned into what I was going to ask you anyway, which was what's his name again?
Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, if he came here, because I know you just said soccer players, they don't have a lot going on up here. But if he came here and was to ask you out on a date, are you going?
I mean, if he's here, like at William and Mary, he have to have some brains up here because everybody at William and Mary is smart.
Nah, what if he just came here just to visit, though?
To visit?
Yeah.
Why would he come here?
Man, you thought shit up with me.
Hypothetically, I would say yes.
Even if he was the dumbest person you ever met.
Okay, if I go on the date and I find out he's the dumbest person I've ever met, that's not gonna work.
Mm.
Would he still be your celebrity crush?
No.
So you're just gonna just kick him to the curb like that?
Kick him to the curb. He's a good soccer player, but if he's got no brains up there, I'm sorry. Like, I'm an academic. I like brains or someone who has a brain. You know.
Well, one thing is that's still sticking to me is soccer players don't have any brains at all.
I know.
No. I disagree. Well, depends on who you're talking about, but I disagree with that.
There's certain ones out there, but like the majority that I know of, they just be doing some dumb things.
You talking about outside of the game or within the game?
Within and like outside as well.
Okay.
Like, their life is just plastered all over the media.
Well, Nekaz, do you think it's the money that's really changing them in that fame, or is it mostly because they don't have a brain, so to
I would
speak?
say it's mostly money, because what happens is, I know in the UK, like, if you're like a top young prodigy, they will pull you out of the school system like really young as 16. Like, you would basically, and you'll go into like their academy, and like they'll have their own like sort of education system, because in the UK you have to be in school legally until you're 18, but they're going to focus more on the football, and like school becomes like it goes on the back burner for them.
So pretty much like athletes and
yeah,
collegiate level.
But then it's kind of different in the US, because you still go to college. Like in the UK, most people that do sports, they're not going to college unless they're like track athletes. Generally, like if you're soccer players, no, not a lot of them go to college.
It's actually true. Yeah, that is true.
And then they're getting paid like thousands at a pretty young age, and like they're like, oh, I can buy this designer gear, like I can buy a new car, like I can get so many girls. Like, it kind of goes to their head as well. So I think it's a mixture of both, like school being on the back burner because of their career, and then the money at a young age.
Do you think you need? My bad. But do you think you need school to really be like educated and really like not pretty much have nothing going on up here? Like, I understand that school provides you and teaches you a lot, but just life experiences also teaches you a lot as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're pretty street smart and like you have that, like, what do you call it, a hustler mentality, you can get somewhere. But like a lot of people do use school as a safety net, and that's what is encouraged, especially if you come from like a minority background. Your family will be like, school, like without school, what are you doing? Like, this kind of like provides that safety net and something, and it's it's something you can use to like have a career. Because for example, if you're like an athlete your career's not going to last forever. Like, there's going to be a time where you can't do the sport anymore. You're getting a bit older. You would have passed your prime, as they call it. So I think that's why, like, I would emphasize school.
I mean, not all athletes get that, but you know, once you retire, once you get to that certain point where you too old to keep going, you got millions of stuff in the bank, and you got all these different endorsements at this point too that also keep money flowing into your annually income. So
yeah, you have a point, but then it's also like, how did you manage that money within that time period? Some people blow that money and like become broke, and then yeah, it happens. Some people will blow all their money and become broke, and like what happens is, for example, if you're a popular soccer player, you can easily get a pundit job on like NBC Sports or Sky Sports, but they'll only pick you if they like you. Otherwise, you could just be broke as hell, unemployed. Like, when I was living in LA, there was some guy living in my apartment complex, and he was actually an NFL player. And
what was his name?
I think his name was Gene Washington. And we didn't know until he told us. Like, he was like, yeah, I've met Condoleezza Rice, I've met the Queen, I've met George W. Bush. And we saw all these pictures on the internet, and we were like, what happened? Like, this man was like in his prime at like one point in his life, and now he's just living on his own in an apartment complex.
A lot of factors can play in that, though. It could be like what you go through within your family. It could be money.
It could be a lot of things. So it's not always like, yeah, when you retire, you're still going to be living the high life. Like, you still need to get an income. You still need to do something. Like, one of the athletic trainers that I know who used to work at Sierra Canyon said, you know, she was concerned that a lot of, you know, the student athletes want to go to college and major in something that's not marketable. Like, they want to do, I don't know, she said one of them wanted to do sociology or Africana studies. That's pretty niche. And she was worried that, you know, they're just picking a course for the sake of it, instead of picking a course that they could, you know, use after, you know, they finish their career. She was genuinely concerned about that.
Sorry about the little technical difficulty, but Shem had pointed at me. Now that was really what like my main focus was. I was paying attention to what you were saying, but Shem did point at me when you mentioned the once they tend to get money, they tend to blow it.
Blow it in the club, blow it on girls.
What was that? What was that shade right there, Shem? When you pointed at me, huh?
What shade? What was the question?
No, when I was saying that, when Adric was saying that, you know, you can have all this money like you've accumulated from your career, but I was like, what about what they're doing whilst they're playing? They'll be blowing like 100K in the club, 100K on girls. You can end up broke.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing. It's all about mindset at that point as well. Because like if you look at a ton of other soccer players, and I think that was going to be part of my argument as well about soccer players not having brains, right? Yeah. I mean, this applies to any athlete. Like if you're an athlete and you're getting brand deals and you're getting paid like hundreds of thousands just to play a game, it all depends on what you do afterwards. Sure, you can blow it on whatever you want to, but it's also if you're going to invest that or maybe do something else to build more wealth after you retire. And I think not a lot of athletes do that. That's why they say the athlete's career is like, it's either this or it's longevity.
It's like one or the other. Yeah, I know some soccer players that have gone down that route. Like, he's retired now. He played for Manchester City. His name's Vincent Kompany. Like, he has a master's of business administration, and he was using that to set up companies in, you know, Belgium, where he comes from. I mean, albeit those companies did fail, but he was investing.
Mm-hmm. Tired?
A little bit. A little bit.
All right, let's focus on you. Do you have any questions for Adric? Let's put him on the spot.
Adric?
Yeah, Adric.
What questions for Adric? Like,
yeah, this is your episode now.
Ask away. Ask all the questions you want to ask.
Since you were an athlete at one point, you still are playing IM League. Now, if you were to, would you blow your money, or what would you spend it on? Can't even talk.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm buying clothes. I'm buying shoes. I'm gonna buy a car. But nah, if once To me, I think the first thing that I would actually buy though, because I used to say it all the time, is like if I was to go to the next level and play professionally, then the first thing that I would do once I got money is buy my parents a house.
Yeah.
Because I got these different goals that I have set in place that it requires like a purchase. Like I want to buy my grandmother a house. I want to buy my grandfather a car because he always told me I was gonna buy him a car. It was his favorite car, which is a Cadillac. Like I say, I want to buy my parents a home because I feel like I want to give back to everything that they blessed me with, so I feel like I want to do the same for them. Then once I get that all out the way, then that's when I focus more on myself. When I focus on myself, that's when I'm gonna buy the shoes, the clothes, the houses, the cars.
What do you think of that?
I think that's pretty solid. Like, I agree with that. I mean,
Snaps
giving
for
back
Adrian.
to your family, I'm all for it.
Yeah, snaps for Adrian. Well, let's ask you this question then.
No,
If
hold
you-
on, hold on. This is no.
No. 'Cause
No.
if we gonna flip it on me, let's flip it back now. Let's flip it back.
All right, now we'll flip it back to,
No, we gonna flip it
to
to
the
me. Let's
actual
flip- let's
guest.
flip it. It's everybody podcast today.
I mean, it always is everybody's podcast. I mean, we're just having a normal chat. That's what it
Let's
is.
flip it to you. What would you do with that money?
What would I do with that
Yeah, What
money?
are you buying?
I'm going out of space.
You go to space,
Yeah.
like in a rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Where in space? Just floating in space.
Just drift off.
Uh,
Get like a lifetime supply of whatever, food, water, everything.
trying
I
to get
need
away
to
from?
use. Huh?
Who you trying to get
you
away
running
from?
You.
Oh, is he tired of you already?
This. Nah, I'm just joking. But no, honestly, yeah, I completely agree with the whole family first thing.
Mhm.
And again, just like Adric, I mean, I believe we all have goals for ourselves in terms of providing back for our family if we make it big. So that's definitely my main primary focus there. And also taking care of my sisters in terms of like college tuition, things like that, in case, something happens and they don't get that opportunity like I do. So things like that is definitely my first focus. Honestly, I wouldn't spend on clothes and money. I mean, I'd still be going to the thrift store. I mean, just me and Adric have a different mindset on that. But
What?
He said he'll go to the thrift store. You'll
yeah,
be
I'd still
buying
be going
new
to the thrift
stuff.
store.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna be big on buying like a whole bunch of designer, but
Yeah.
every now and then I may buy some designer, but I'm gonna stick to what I wear on a regular basis. I'm gonna buy the Jordans. I'm gonna buy the Air Max, the New Balance and stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie, cause I got a couple friends who actually do like thrift a lot, and like if you go like thrift store, they be having like some decent stuff in there.
They'll have cool stuff.
That's what I'm saying. So I may do it like now, but once I'm up, probably not.
Honestly, how would an episode, like, have you guys seen the little celebrities go shoe shopping thing?
On YouTube?
Yeah.
I have
Like,
actually.
like Complex and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
What if we do that with Adric?
I should try and buy up the whole shop.
Nah, I'm
Just keep the receipts.
Yeah, them cute them see. I'm only gonna go in there and buy one thing. I see celebrities, they go in there, they buy 4-5 pairs of shoes. I'm buying one pair of shoes. Matter of fact, give me one shoe. I don't need the both of them. I just need one. Just so I can say I had it.
Yeah, let's do that. Comment down below if you want to see an episode like that. Just Adric shoe shopping. See his style, his taste, everything.
I want to see that.
Would
Y'all-
you be down?
Y'all seen a couple episodes, man. I don't really be dressing too much like that no more, but I don't know. I try to keep it simple with a little bit of seasoning on it.
But I mean, you said, how long did you say you've been in London? You said you grew up there.
I was
right?
born and raised in London. I moved to the United States when I was 16, so I've been here since 2019.
So what was the difference like for you, especially moving from London to the US? Was
I had a
anything that you-
terrible culture shock. Like, I wasn't thinking about it too deep because I was like, okay, like, Americans speak English, but like everything, like every little detail is different. Like, I was struggling to come to grips with the fact that I'll say something and people won't understand me.
Mhm.
And I was like, but I speak Queen's English. How can you not understand me? So that was hard. Adjusting to a new way of life. I mean, even now to this day, I still experience some culture shock. But I think it was worse because I lived in LA. LA is completely different.
Yeah, that's definitely probably why. LA is just full of slang though. It's not even like proper English at times.
I lived in the valley, so
Alright.
I'd hear like the valley girl accent all the time.
Y'all done got me started a little bit. Okay, so what is? I mean, because I take a linguistics class, well,
Yeah.
Africana studies class, and we talk
Here we
about
go.
language all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is proper English?
What is proper English?
Yeah, like-
that is an interesting question.
Because I feel like if you saying it's proper English, which is saying like there's a correct way to talk or correct way to speak or correct way to use a language, when everybody's gonna use it in a different way.
Yeah.
Nobody's necessarily using it all the same way.
Yeah.
Not one person, or not more than one person. Everybody's gonna use it. It's gonna be similar features, but it's always gonna be a distinct difference.
Yeah, I think that distinct difference is like English is English, but there's dialect. I speak British English. Everyone here speaks American English. I feel like I speak clearly. It's just the fact that people couldn't hear me. It was a little bit frustrating when I first moved here, because I felt like I'd have to keep repeating myself, and like I felt like, how can I be repeating myself? I speak English.
Has that gotten better?
It's still bad. I'm not going to lie. Like the dining hall workers, some of them don't be hearing what I'm saying. Like,
Give us an example.
okay, so like I go to the deli, right? This happens a lot at the deli, because I'll say, okay, I want a turkey wrap with Swiss cheese, lettuce and tomato, and she'll be like, what did you say? I said tomato. She's like, what's that? So I have to point at it. She'll be like, oh, tomato. I'm like, really? Really?
That's not
No,
funny,
that's-
but it's funny.
It's not.
No, it's funny because how like the reaction of seeing the person actually saying what the whole time. That's what I'm laughing
It's
at.
like they didn't hear me. Yes, you did hear me. You know what I'm talking about.
They were just. I lost my train of thought after you left. I literally had a question lined up. Oh my god.
That's just one example. I've had multiple instances where, like, actually one crazy instance was when I was at In-N-Out in LA. It was after school, right? I went to In-N-Out, and I asked for the drink. I asked for was water, and she's like, "What did you say? Like, can you repeat that?" I said water, and she couldn't hear what I was saying. And my family friend was like, "No, Rachel, you have to say water." I was like, "Really?"
It's crazy how like the difference between the two is so like great.
I was like, "You serious?"
But people say all the time tomato.
Yeah.
So I don't really get the difference.
But that they genuinely didn't get what I was saying.
It could just be, honestly, it's like many people don't encounter British English as much, except for if they're watching a show or something like that.
Yeah.
So if in the real world it's like, okay, someone comes up to them and has that different like British English accent, it's like,
Yeah, I was just a bit shocked, because I know LA has a British community, but to be fair, they're all in like Santa Monica. I lived in the Valley.
well, I mean, how is it here though at William & Mary? Because I know I've met a couple people from England.
Oh, at William and Mary, because we have the joint degree program with St Andrews, so I feel like more people would interact with a lot of British people, and I've met some people from the joint degree program. Like, I get on with them, but like everyone has busy schedules, so I won't see them all the time. But I feel like the experience has been a bit better. Like, I think the whole Virginia experience has been better for me. I feel more comfortable in Virginia because it feels more like home. Like, I just couldn't hack LA. I couldn't live and die in LA. I couldn't do it.
You like Virginia?
I mean, I'm more comfortable here. I would say that. America's just completely different to what I'm used to, but I feel more comfortable in Virginia.
Shout out to Virginia, man.
Honestly,
I think anywhere on the East Coast, I'm more comfortable on the East Coast.
That's why I asked the question. You like Virginia? I mean, I live here, but I don't want to be here no more.
Don't want to be here no more. I mean, I think anywhere on the East Coast, I would be comfortable with. Just the West Coast is a bit too different.
Definitely. Well, I mean, on that note, I think we definitely need to have you on another podcast again. I
Yeah.
know this one was a little cut short due to time, But I really appreciate you coming on. And I know you've been
Most
wanting
definitely.
to come on. So
I've been asking Adrian, get me on the podcast.
what's been up with that? Why not though?
Because we haven't even been filming.
Put you on the spot again, huh?
We we just got back to like actually like filming again and stuff like that, and we trying to come up with a schedule where we're doing different types of videos on the days that we are filming. At first, it was more so, either I'm leaving, he may be leaving, but I know majority of the time I do go home on weekends, so I just don't be here. But the times that I am here, we try to knock out. But then it'd be like we have so many people that's lined up for videos that we make sure that we try to get them in the schedule because we know we had them waiting for a long time. But sometimes their schedule don't work with our schedule, so then it just end up being like we'll have people set for a day and last minute it'll get changed. So that's why I haven't really been on it as far as like getting like the people who's probably asking me consistently to come on the podcast. Like, yes, we're gonna put you in the schedule, but at the same time, we also got many people who also been trying to do it. So y'all gotta just be patient with me. Just be patient with me. Like, we gonna put you in, like, we gonna get you on because the more people we get on the podcast, the better it is. So we gonna get you on. Don't worry. Everybody's welcome to come on the podcast. Just like right now, I already feel it. They buzzing in right now trying to get on the podcast. I don't know who it is. Oh, it's another. I already know business coming. But yeah, like Shem said, we appreciate you for coming on, and like you said, we're gonna have to do it again, part 2. So make sure y'all stay tuned for part 2. Like we said in the beginning too, make sure y'all. If y'all want some of the merch, make sure y'all DM us at Full Podcast, DM my personal account or Sham's personal account. If y'all want a shirt, y'all can text me as well.
And not sure when this video will get posted due to like we've got backlogs of many other episodes, but if we have new merch by then, because new merch is coming out, keep an eye on that.
New merch, new logo, everything's coming soon, so make sure y'all stay tuned for all of that.
It's a lot of work for me. But again, Rachel, thank you again for coming. I
Thank
really
you for
appreciate
having
it.
me, guys.
And yeah, we'll see you on the next episode.
And man, like I always say, man, y'all know the vibes, man. We out of here.